Radio 103.9, and my guest this morning is somebody, not only a friend, but somebody I respect so much, who has really been a voice in these crazy times as we deal with the police brutality and Black Lives Matter. I'm talking about comedian and activist D.L. Hughley. What's up, D.L.?
I'm a long way from an activist, man. I just want to tell big jokes, but apparently people keep... it's funny that anybody who says what they see all of a sudden is an activist. I'm just a cat who loves what I do and loves the people that come listen to me do it, and it's not much more than that.
But you know what it is, DL, man, is in comedy, they say there's truth in comedy, and man, you have really been able to cut through the BS and speak truth to power. And I guess it's the gift of being a comedian where you can see both sides. But like you say things that when I hear you say them, I wish I said it. Like, the point that you made about the NRA, the silence, the silence that you hear in these cases where you have a brother who was carrying a gun and he had his license, but nobody's saying anything. You're the only person I heard say that deal, and that's not the only thing. It just seems like you just been the voice of reason, man. And so that's why
I think it's a horrible world when a dude that talks, that tells jokes for a living is a voice of reason. But I'll say that anytime a man is executing his Second Amendment, executing his Second Amendment right, which is what everybody's all about. We pass more laws that are designed to make it easier for people to carry guns, to make it easier for people to have guns in airports, in malls, in stores, and all of a sudden he's shot down doing exactly everything you're supposed to be doing. It's an indictment on society. And the thing that I'll say is, I love to make people laugh, but I understand, and I love that people come out to do what I do. I don't love anything more than I do telling people my perspective, and I think that the time. Look, I'm 52 years old. The time is time out for me for not saying what I see, and if that costs me, that costs me. But I won't sit back around. I've done the whole thing where I've just kind of tried to make people happy, and that would be an ultimate goal for anybody. But now I just want to be clear, and as long as I'm that, I'll take whatever comes with it.
And so, DL, when we talk about Philando Castile and right. The brother who, his courageous lady who was actually live streaming the killing of her man and right. the crazy reaction from the police officer. It was almost surreal. And every day it's like we have these different images. So DL, the people who, the coworkers and the different people who say, mostly your white coworkers or people say, they could have acted differently or they should listen to the police officer. Do you think they're finally getting it? I mean, every day seeing the video.
I don't know whether they're finally getting it or not, but the thing that was most hopeful about the young woman of Mr. Castillo was the way she was so respectful to the man who had just slaughtered her mate. And she had to be respectful because she had a 4-year-old in the back, and she didn't want to die. And everything about, it reminded me of slavery, it reminded me of roots, it reminded me of the position that black women have found themselves in for generations in this country. And to me, anybody who can't watch the slaughter of 2 men on videotape is not human. And so you can only decide, somebody asked me, I want to do something. What can I do? Imagine it was your mother, your father, your brother, your sister. Imagine it was you. If we are supposed to be all children of God, then why does your God make you look at me differently than he does you? And so I can't believe it. Either if you see it and you don't say anything, you're complicit. And if you see it and you don't act on it, you're complicit. So either way you go, nobody gets to sit this one out. Either you in or you out. And it escapes me who said this, but it's Martin Luther King. He said it's not the voice of our enemies, the words of our enemies that we'll remember. It's the silence of our friends. And people that are supposed to be accomplices, people that are supposed to be people who are on your side, and they say nothing. They're just complicit as the people who actively do things. Just like when somebody tells me, "Oh, well, he's a good cop." Good cops, you're not just good because you don't do what somebody else does. If I mention to a police officer, hey, if I say bad cop, and they can conjure up a notion in their head or a name in their hood that looks like that person should be a cop no more. And you don't get to just be a good cop because you don't do what they do. You get to be a good cop because you stop them doing from what they do. And so nobody gets a pass. I refuse to allow people to have this kind of Switzerland kind of approach. You're in for a penny, you're in for a pound. Either you're with humanity or you're not. And I don't care. On Saturday, that's what I'll do for a living. But on Wednesday, Monday through Friday, I'm going to tell people how I see it. And that's just what I do. I'll take it as it comes.
We're talking with D.L. Hughley. D.L., was it progress that the governor on, right after this event happened in Minnesota said it was a racial
I don't know if it was progress. He said it was racially motivated.
Yes.
Let me just say this. I will say this. The truth comes naked. A lie has to put on pants. So to me, if you see it, it's not hard. Knowing something is always easier than saying it out loud. And kudos to him for having the courage to say what he saw out loud. But that's not a hard thing to do. We all have ears. We all know what's right. We all know what's wrong. What you have to do is silence your inner voice to do what people are doing right now. They have to make things up to match. If I hear one more person say black on black crime, be it a black leader or a black activist or anybody, I'll choke them. Because if you say black on black crime, that means that there's no other kind of crime. When white people shoot white people, nobody calls it white on white crime. Asians shoot Asians, they'll call it Asian on Asian crime. The biggest indicator of crime is not race or ethnicity, is poverty. You know what? You're going to see a lot of crime and a lot of violence where there's poverty. And you can't tell people to put the guns out without giving them hope to pick up or education to pick up or an opportunity to pick up. Just telling people to do a thing just because you would like them to be quiet and go away does not work. It doesn't work that way anyway. So it's a misnomer to keep having people that would instantly make it better, because what that does is all of a sudden it dehumanizes the people and it makes it easier to kill. So that's a game I won't play anymore. If you say that to me, then I'll have to correct you. To me, saying black on black crime is worse than saying nigga to me.
You got me. You got emotional, and I got emotional with your point. My kids are still not at the age where they're like out yet driving or whatever. But when you said that, at night you keep your clothes on just in case your kids need you, and your kids are in your 20s, man. That made you emotional.
Well, that's because they're sorry-ass millennials, but and your kids will be in their 20s when they leave too, Mark.
Yes.
The point I was making was I always wanted to, like I have a scenario in my head where my children need me, and the difference between putting my pants, shoes, and socks could mean saving their lives or not. I'd rather not get you. And people, it's the funny thing. People joke with me all the time. I always sleep with my clothes on, and I've done it so long that now even when I'm on the road, I sleep with my clothes on. And nobody. It's a shame to me that I can't get a full night's sleep even when I'm on the road, because I always have this thing where I know that I don't want to be my children living or dying, or my woman living or dying, to be the difference between me putting my shoes inside. And so it's an indictment on our society. And like I said earlier, nobody gets to sit on the sidelines. Either you're in for a penny or you're in for a pound. And to me, I've decided that humanity matters more than whatever they might say about what I do.
I was talking to a fellow coworker who she's Indian, and it's interesting how those who don't go through life as a black man really just don't get it,
Sure they do.
And
in India, they had the caste system. Gandhi hated. Listen, everybody. The problem in America is everybody get to occasionally forget what it's like to be oppressed, but us, because everybody can pretend like that's something else. They can tell themselves a story. They get to lie to themselves. They get to satiate themselves. They get to placate themselves. We don't. It galls me when I hear white people telling me that somebody's not racist. How would you know? Well, when I hear somebody telling me how to be, white people always tell you how to be black from their perspective. And this is what I would do is this. This man, both these men, lived in states where it was legal to carry guns. So instead of assaulting them, why wasn't the first question you asked, do you have a permit to see that gun? If we have more guns that are more and more lax and easier for people to access guns, surely the notion of finding more and more people in the general population with guns isn't unusual. It happens a lot. So why does it become a heinous threat? That much more. Why does your threat level get that much more heightened when the person is of color? It is because people's biases have led them to believe, when they tell me, oh, it's a high crime area, virtually every crime committed in the United States of America is committed 2 to 1 black and white. 78% of the people arrested in this country are white. Up until 2009, in the United States of America, the majority of gang members in this country were white. Stop telling me how you are afraid. Most of the people right now, most of the, like 87% of the officers in the United States of America are killed by white people. So what are you scared of me for? You don't get to tell you. You don't get to repeat those statistics to me. Tell it to somebody who thinks you sound smart. I don't. What you're telling me is something that black leaders have been designed to believe, that we're less than, and that somebody's doing us a favor. The only reason we're in the situation we're in, obviously, some of it obviously is on us. But you can't tell me that all of a sudden that by birth that we are less than, or that we're more violent, that we're more. Proximity decides who you kill. But people are more killed or more hurt more by people or are injured by more. There's an expression you always heard, the one you love. You know why? Because you're close to them. They're around you all the time. Keep your enemies close, and you keep your friends closer and your enemies closer. That's all about proximity. That's not an indictment of your race or ethnicity. And I won't allow somebody to tell me something like that. That sounds smart to somebody who's dumb.
And so, just like you said, DL, the silence of the NRA crowd, also, I guess it's not surprising, the silence of the Allen West and the black conservatives is interesting in this whole process. Well, because
it goes against the narrative. You know what? The Second Amendment is an argument that people are having. They can't. You know what somebody said to me? They said, "Well, when all the facts come out, the NRA and the Second Amendment advocates will make a statement." You know, they wouldn't wait that long if they found out you had a criminal record. They wouldn't wait that long to jump to rush to judgment. They wouldn't do that at all. They're sitting on the sidelines because up until 1968 or 69. California had the most lax gun laws in the country. We're the first open carry state. We're a very liberal, we're a very conservative state where people could carry guns. Up until the Klan members, until Black Panthers walked to the California State Assembly with weapons. There were weapons, and Ronald Reagan with the NRA and decided that we can no longer guns. That's the truth. And so people don't get to tell stories like that, and we don't get to perpetuate them. The best thing we can do is understand who we are and understand what we've done and what we haven't. You kill a truth, you kill a lie with the truth. We are in a position where there are some things about us that I certainly love to change. But the one thing about us, we are not intrinsically a violent, evil people, and people that perpetuate those myths and perpetuate those talking points are complicit in killing us.
So, DL, what do you say? How do we deal with this? What is the solution in your eyes?
It's a very simple solution to me. No organism on Earth asks for permission to live. Ask for permission to live. We should do whatever. If you and I were swimming and I fell into a cold water, my body would shut down and break it down to the most essential organism, my heart and my brain, right? That's where we are right now. We cannot keep allowing our women to feel like they are at the whim of people. We can't allow our children to not feel safe. So whatever that means is what that means. We cannot. Praying is on your knees. Faith without works is dead. God didn't strike down Goliath. David did with the stone that God gave him the faith to believe he could. We can't keep doing it. I'm not going to keep asking you to do a thing for me. You are not my master. I am. We do not. Our women and children don't feel safe because we haven't provided a safe place for them and time out for that. You cannot. I'm not going to ask you if my woman or my woman or my children or even I have the right to live. That's not yours to give or take from me. And if you do it, it won't be with my cooperation. I promise you that. D.L.
Hughley, one of our kings of comedy, but also one of our greatest
thinkers.
Well,
I'm telling dick jokes at the Chuckle Hut later on, so people will love it. I'll be funny tomorrow.
Yo, man, you're turning into Mark Twain of our generation, man. And I'm just, hey man, I love you, man. I'm proud of you, man, and just keep up the great work, man.